Welcome back, guys, to the Hassle of Hair episode 74. How you guys doing today? Hope you're having a wonderful week. Today, our guest is Effie Passero, American Idol contestant, finalist, and singer. Obviously, she's a singer, American Idol, right? She has a really, really unique story of going to Mexico to tour, and
going where?
Going to Mexico.
Oh, Mexico. Okay.
Yeah, going to Mexico on tour, and it's basically the pandemic hit, and Trump called the state of emergency, and she was stuck in Mexico during all this, right?
During the lockdown?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So, and yeah, it's kind of like a where were you when this happened?
I was at home or working at the time.
So,
home or working? Yeah.
So it's just like today, I guess, is a moment in time where were you when so and so happened? And today, right before we started recording, they I guess they protested all the way into the White House today.
Was it the White House?
Or the Capitol, right?
Oh, okay.
Which is, I'm gonna sound dumb right now. Let's look that up.
Okay, look it up.
See. But it's crazy because it literally happened not that long ago, right?
Happened within a couple hours ago, right?
Yeah,
an hour or two ago.
And you already have these creators content creators like YouTube and Instagram. News just travels so fast right now.
Imagine how it was before. It was a newspaper and it took like a week to get to somebody. When was it? You have people posting.
Oh, Capitol Hill, not the White House.
There you go.
Storm Capitol Hill. And but then you lose it being filtered. Like you lose it being the news coming out correct, right? With the research and what's happening. Now it's just like something happens if if a celebrity hits his wife and they get it on camera, boom, it's
already there.
It's already there. It's already blasted all over the place. And
what was the thing that we were watching last night when you were like athletes hitting their girlfriends or their wives and stuff like that?
Reuben Foster?
No, athletes in general.
Oh yeah.
Like football players, baseball players. I mean, those are the ones that we seen were those ones.
Yeah. Oh, the baseball player too, right?
Yeah.
And it's everything's just open now. Like I at night, she's like, "Why are you watching that?" It's like every night before I go to bed, I
you watch something cringy
or super dramatic.
Yeah, one or the other.
I like to remind myself that this world is not the best world. I need to see something that's just like dark.
Well, this stuff was already going on before. It's just out there more now because of social media.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like. It literally just happened, and you have people all over the world sharing it, posting it, and it's just you're not gonna get the correct story right away. Like when everything first happened with the pandemic, with all the riots, like years from now, there's gonna be books and there's gonna be research on it about what really happened. We only know the outside story. We don't know the inside story. So,
all right. Yeah. I'm done talking about politics. Let's talk about something else.
I found that I wasn't even talking about politics. I just found it really interesting and how fast things travel.
Yeah.
Right. So, yes, but today we do have Effie Passero. Again, she was an American Idol contestant. I will have all her links below. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and notifications on and all that wonderful stuff.
So all that stuff Jesse was saying on the last episode about you don't need social media and don't let it ruin your life. You do need social media.
Yeah. So whatever. Gosh darn it. But yeah, I don't know. Did you grow up watching American Idol?
It wasn't like, oh my God, every time it was on, I had to watch it or something. It was, I think more or less I watched the beginnings of it to see, when they put people on there that can't sing or they're overreacting or, to get more views. I think that's what I would watch. It wasn't so much like, oh my god, that one's my favorite person, or
like the auditions were the best.
Yeah, that's
right?
what I'm talking about. The auditions part, like the beginning,
were the best. If someone wrecked and it just went viral, right? And that was the most thing that you would talk about.
Yeah.
Like, she bang. What was his name?
I can't think of his name right now.
And then just all the cringiness when they, the worst was when they did suck. And
then you tell them they suck and they're so like, no, you suck.
It was the worst. And then they didn't believe it. My mom says I'm good, and it's a crazy thing. Right.
That's why when you ask me stuff, you're like, what do you think? And that's why I tell you, like, you want me to tell you the truth or you want me to lie to you? Because if I lie to you, I'm not really helping you.
When growing up, I remember a San Jose guy made it. His name was Demi Ray, believe his name, or is that a girl, or is that the last?
How do you not know if it was a guy or a girl?
I remember because I forgot his name, but he had a big old afro. That is not that's Demi Ray. That is not a guy. I'm sorry. But the last San Jose person to make it was Demi Ray, and then Effie Passero's from Modesto. So 209, representing 209, and we go into talking about how American Idol it's kind of like, it's not fake, but there's a lot of, well, yeah, it is. It's kind of fake.
Well,
right?
It's reality TV, so they're gonna put more like dramatic stuff into it and make it more than what it is. Everything's like that. The Bachelor, what is it? What's the one where they go off in the island, and then like they have to get voted off and stuff like that.
Oh,
Survivor, stuff like that.
Do you remember
Naked and Afraid? Ooh, Naked and Afraid.
Yeah,
that was like my favorite one.
I couldn't survive like that.
I think you could. You could, because you like to be naked. You eat whatever the fuck you want to eat.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how you would catch anything, because you either get a knife, I think a knife, a machete maybe, and a lighter. What would you take? What would you take? Tell me. If you had to choose between those, which one would you take?
Wait, I had to choose between
Yeah,
those?
because you can only pick one.
So what am I taking?
I think it's either like a knife or a machete. I'm probably saying it. Those are probably even it. Or like a lighter or a match, or like something to start fire. You're completely naked.
Starting a fire is a motherfucker, right?
Okay. But do you really know how to kill something with a knife?
I think
I would pick fire.
I think I could take out a deer with a knife. I mean, I'd take out a deer with
where you're going, there isn't deer.
With choking it?
Where you're going, there's no deer. It's either like, you're like in the Amazon somewhere.
Yeah. In the Amazon?
Yep.
People, because you're not, it is not in the Amazon.
Google it.
Hold on. It is not in the Amazon.
They have it in the Amazon. Okay, well, if not the Amazon, they have it like somewhere.
I don't think people, it's crazy in the Amazon, right? I would think.
Probably, yeah.
Like, I think I could take out a deer, like, with just choking it.
How are you going to catch it? Tell me how you're going to catch it.
Well, there's a story.
How are you going to catch it?
There's a story that the fighter Bryce Mitchell, he told on Theo Vaughn's podcast.
Okay.
And he says that he snuck up on he saw the deer, and the deer was sleeping, and he snuck up. He's all, ooh, that's
okay.
He didn't have a knife. He didn't have a gun. Nothing. And he's like, that's dinner. He snuck up, walked, grabbed it, wrestled with it, started choking it, and was just choking it. Like, he basically choked it to death. He said that it was probably dead before it even stopped moving. He thought it was just like moving like crazy. Like,
how much of that do you think is true though?
I think it's true. The dude
I think deer are easily spooked from anything.
He's like, I think he's a brown belt right now, but he's a legit like assassin, right? He could I think he did it. But I'll put the link to that video below. But speaking about meat, so we just this is going to be the first time we've ever got a cow. We bought a quarter cow, right? We usually just go to Safeway, come back, Safeway, come back. I'm from the city. I'm not from the country. And someone that trains with at the gym, he owns cattle, and every year he does, or 2 times a year he does, he butchers them, right? And he said if I wanted a quarter, I was like, hell yeah. It's kind of scary because it is a lot of money, right? And then like you need the space. Luckily, we bought a freezer a while ago.
Yeah, we have a freezer.
We just haven't picked it up.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's gonna save us a lot of money, and I've always wanted to just like open a freezer and just like, all right, I want a T-bone today. So that's gonna be interesting. If we like it, I hope we keep on going. He said he's always gonna have a cow for us every time he does them.
Looks like it says Colombia.
So Colombia.
Okay.
The Badlands of Colombia.
I mean, that's like the jungle out there.
Yeah. But I would take the lighter.
The lighter?
The lighter. Because I could always make a knife, right?
You mean something sharp?
Yeah.
Okay. I could always take a knife.
I'm not going to survive, right?
I think I could survive out there.
Really?
Yeah.
There's
the only thing I can't survive is just being naked. And now, like,
I just can't sit anywhere.
But
try sitting down with just your bare ass. You can't do it.
But this is the thing. So they give them like a sack, and sometimes people just cut holes in the sack and they put it on like shorts or something.
Thinking about laying belly first on the floor. Think about that with no shirt on, no pants on.
You do that
first.
already, like but in the summer. In the summer.
On dirt. Even a leaf, like. Even leaves, like I can make a bed out of leaves all of a sudden. But
I'm gonna tell you couldn't survive. You would not be.
It's so uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
One time when camping.
Oh Jesus!
We went camping. There's
not me.
Huh?
Not
yeah.
me.
I think I was like 12 or 13, and we went as a family. We went to the lake, but there was a stream right there, and it had a bunch of cods. Right, they were a lot of them were pregnant. We'd catch them, and they you squeeze them, and the eggs come out. Right, I didn't know what they were. But I yelled at my brother. I go, look, I'm a Indiana Jones or something, and I put my hand down, ripped up a cod, and then as like I put my hand down, I brought it up. And all you see is the fish stuck to my arm, sucking on my arm, like biting it. And I freaked the fuck out. I was like, what the fuck? Get it off me. But you could go over there and just catch them with your hand. Like nothing. It was crazy.
No.
But that's the I don't mind experience.
Camping, I have no problem camping. We used to camp all the time when we were younger.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Now?
Camping?
You know who hasn't gone camping?
Yeah.
Eva. Eva has not been camping.
Yeah.
Camping, sorry.
But yeah, guys. Last time we did it long, 25 minutes. Sorry about that.
It's because Jesse likes to rant.
Yeah. Soon, I believe we are gonna start doing the marriage podcast together. I want to have that like really good and segments and have it just like a show for you guys. Make it funny and maybe have people call in. I thought
you were gonna say like phone sex or something.
No, we're not gonna have phone sex. So we're gonna have people call in. I might have a fight in 5 months from now. I'm hoping. So 5 months from now, I might have a fight. I realized I was super fat today when I was hitting pads.
You're not fat?
Well, when trying to kick and you could feel your stomach while you're trying to kick.
Let's just say that you haven't been to the gym in a month training, so.
I'm saying what does that have to be about?
You haven't been kicking for a month.
No, I'm saying I could feel my, like, before
you can feel your stomach on your leg?
Yeah, I can feel my stomach on my leg.
Better your stomach than your titties.
Oh, man. But yeah, so I might have a fight in a few months, 5 months, and I'm excited about that. And yeah, today, Effie Passero, all her links are going to be below. Don't forget to subscribe, notifications on, follow the Instagram, The Hassle of Hair. If you're on audio, subscribe to that, and then give us a review if you're on Apple Podcasts. Please, guys, it helps us out to know what we're doing.
And we like to read your guys' comments.
Yes, and thank you for everybody that's been interacting with us and messaging us. Today's sponsor and the rest of January is Adaptive Sessions. Adaptive Sessions, guys. They are a kettlebell workout / pad works by your man, Diego. He is a former amateur fighter, has been training for years, a purple belt in jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
The man is just, not only does he do martial arts, he shoots bow and arrows. He might kill dragons too. I'm not for sure. He shoots guns. He has like 10 jobs.
He's like our own personal Joe Rogan.
Yeah, basically. So go get trained by the best, our personal Joe Rogan. There you go. So yeah, guys, go follow Adaptive Sessions. He's gonna be having gear every so often, like shirts and hats. So go support him because he supports us. And his Instagram is Adaptive Sessions, guys. That's simple as that.
No way, Adapted Sessions.
So the best way to help us out, the best way is just, if you like this podcast, if you like the episode, share it to a friend. That's all we ask. So enjoy the episode and see you guys next time. Love you. Peace. Artist, musician, singer, and she was a former contestant on American Idol. And I was just listening to Drawings right now from 2018.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I know it's not a newer song, but
yeah,
that song, I keep on having it on repeat. I don't know why.
Thank you.
And I'm not much of a pop kind of person. I have a lot of, I love your powerful stuff. To me is just the slow songs. I really love them.
Oh, thank you. Me too. That's all I write, really. People always expect something upbeat from me, and I'm like, do you even know me by now? Like, it's not happening.
So when did you find out that you wanted to be a singer? When did you find out you had a gift, and when did you find your passion?
I am one of those anomalies where I started singing when I was 2. My mom kind of walked in on me singing along to the TV, and she was ecstatic. She embraced the musicality right away. She was never scared of having a music child. So she immediately put me in piano lessons when I was about 4. She put me in piano, and then by 5 I was doing community theater, and then by the time I was around 8 or 9, I realized, like, I'm good at this. I really enjoy this. This is a lot of fun. And it wasn't until I was much older that I really embraced the songwriting that I love to do now. I thought I was going to be in musical theater for a very long time, but then life changed. So now I'm a songwriter.
So, was there ever a plan B?
I really love dinosaurs, and I wanted to be a paleontologist for a really long time. I even had a minor in geology when I went to school, but ultimately, no. I think I always knew that I was going to be in music one way or another. Never going to stop.
Awesome. And what was there a certain person or a certain moment in your life that inspired you to go after your dreams?
I had a lot of amazing teachers, like a string of them, about 4 or 5, where they just encouraged me and believed in me nonstop, took me to see shows. They would take me to see operas and see what the world was like, and show me the culture of opera theater, because that's what I studied in school. And I think just having that constant support from my teachers, as well as my mother and my brothers, it really helped me just become who I am. Very, very lucky.
Awesome. And you grew up in Modesto, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I'm right down.
Yeah, and then
sorry, what?
Where are you in Modesto?
No, we're in Los Baños.
Oh, cute. Oh my gosh. I went to school at UOP for a while and studied there in Stockton. So I was a Central Valley kid for a long time.
Awesome. And that's what I'm trying to bring to light is the Central Valley and the 209 and how the amazing artists that we have here. And so after high school, and you were living in Modesto for how long after high
Up
school?
until I was uh, like 17. As soon as I graduated, I was out of there.
And did you
I went to Cal State Fullerton.
awesome? And were you constantly writing? Were you constantly singing or performing? I know I've seen some open mics that you went on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I When I was going to school for opera, I kind of discovered my songwriting there because Cal State Fullerton had 24-hour practice rooms where you could just go in and sit at the piano for hours and hours and hours. So instead of working on my my opera stuff, I started to write more and get really um, just intertwined in songwriting, and I loved telling stories, and that side of me really flourished. So I was writing 5 or 6 songs a night, like really popping them out. So I wasn't performing anywhere per se, but that's really when I started to um, learn more about the type of musician that I wanted to be. And then I dropped out of college because I hate school and just hated it. I was a
Yeah.
terrible, terrible, terrible student. And then I moved back to Modesto. Um, and that's when I really started to perform. Like Modesto and the Central Valley actually has a lot of encouraging community members. You just have to know where to find them, and you have to encourage each other. The artist community is actually really big there. It just takes a moment to meet them and get to know everybody, see where everybody's going, go to their shows, because it's important to do that for a small community.
And I was 2 years ago. I was working for FedEx, and I used to deliver to the mall in Modesto. That was my route,
Ugh.
and I I noticed it too. Just how artistic people were there. They had, if you just find it, they had these groups that were in their early 20s. I forgot the name of the. There's one specific gathering that they do a weekend every weekend, and it was just full of artistic people, people that draw, paint, rappers, singers, and it's just.
Hmm.
I grew up in San Jose, and I thought that was only in the Bay Area, and you learn that it's right here in the Central Valley. You just gotta
Hmm.
find it.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. There were a lot of good open mics in town, and that's where I met my little pod. And like we would go to P. Wexford's every Monday and go drink beer and have a great time. And then on Sundays, I would try and make it, but it was the Queen Bee, Queen Bean, yeah. So we would have coffee, and like that was more of a relaxed, chill vibe. Um, but it was always fun because you knew you were going to see your friends and hear music and maybe collaborate with somebody. You never knew what was going to happen.
and how nerve wracking. I know you've performed in front of a bunch of people, but what's more nerve wracking, in front of thousands or in front of 5, 10 people?
it's uh it's so much more nerve-wracking to perform in front of your peers, especially other musicians who are going to sit there and watch your every movement, hear every note. They're going to listen to your original words, and they're going to be like, oh, that was weird, or they're going to love it. You never know. um, but when I sing in front of thousands of people, I'm like, at least 20 of you guys are going to like it. That's all that matters to me. But if I sing for 5 people, all 5 people, like the chances are all 5 people might really like it, or they might be like, yeah, it's whatever. So yeah, it is much more nerve wracking. But 5 strangers who don't play music, who are just there to see me sing, that's fine because I
Yes.
can be my goofy self. But when it's around people I know, I get jittery and weird.
And what is do you have a certain process that you go through before you perform? Because sorry, but before I go out and fight, or before I go, like, I've only had 4 amateur fights, but I am the most calm person ever. And my sister, she fights also, and before she goes and fights, she needs the longest warm up ever. She needs to
get in the zone. She needs everything. And me, it's just like any other day. Like I'm gonna go to a picnic. Is there a
Yeah.
process for you when you perform?
Um, it kind of depends on like the scale of performance. If it's kind of like a really important gala dinner for a fundraiser and I have to be on my best behavior, then I'm like, oh, these people make more in one day than I made in an entire month. Then I get nervous. But if it's for like, I don't know, just something casual, then it's not so bad. But for the most part, I have to be a lazy piece of garbage human like the whole day. I'm like, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna play video games, and have my coffee because I just want to be as zen as possible.
Yeah,
So that's how I do it. I just be a lazy roly poly all day, and then I get ready for my gig, and I walk in, and I'm totally calm. So that helps.
that's awesome. I think with anything, being calm is number one.
Yeah.
And I just interviewed a singer from Netherlands. She's actually
Wow, that's
was
cool.
yeah, she was in an orchestra and she performed in front of Tomorrowland or something like that. Or I shouldn't say it like that. She performed in front of a festival called Tomorrowland, and she got her master's in music, and we dove into how much work it goes into learning your voice, learning how to control it. It's your instrument. I found it
Yeah.
mind-boggling that it's an instrument, but to me, I just think that people are born able to sing, and they had the me. I break windows, and you light up the stadiums, right? And
Yeah.
I how much work goes into exercising your instrument and learning it, and what are the kind of exercises you do to learn your voice?
There's a lot that goes into voice, just like any other instrument. But I mean, considering that I started taking lessons when I was around 7, and I'm 29 now, so that's 22 years of just like hardcore, and everything that I've learned all my life, I still utilize all of that.
Yes.
But in terms of your voice, you have to learn, breathing technique and posture and your range, because you grow up thinking that you're only able to sing certain notes, but then as you get older, your voice grows and your range grows, or it's a lot. But yeah, you have to practice your breathing. You have to practice. I'm terrible at posture, especially because I'm a pianist as well. You think I'd be better, but I'm terrible. Um, so there are surprisingly a lot of body exercises that you need to do in order to keep up with your voice.
Awesome. And you said playing the piano and singing. I find that so amazing that a musician could sing and play their instrument at the same time.
Yeah.
I love Neil Young. He's one of my favorite singers,
Oh yeah.
and he the harmonica and the guitar and singing in front of people at the same time. I find it mind-boggling. Is it When did you start being able to do both? Was it just Were you just gifted that way?
I don't know an exact time, but I just know that I've always done it. I think that my mom was kind of ahead of the game. She put me in piano lessons specifically so that I could learn to help myself with voice. And then as I got older, I mean, I was doing classical piano, but as I got older, I also realized like I want to be able to write. I want to be able to sing and accompany myself most of the time. So it was just always something that I wanted to be able to do as well. So that probably helped. I had the tenacity to do so.
Okay, so I do want to go into the American Idol,
Oh, for sure.
preparing for it, and not that many people from the Central Valley get to enjoy. Not I don't want to say enjoy because it probably wasn't. It was probably nerve wracking, but you didn't. I'm just fumbling my words right now. Sorry,
No worries.
but um, how how was it? Not many people get to do what you did, and what was take us through your mindset going in. Did you think that you were going to move on to being a finalist? Did you have an expectation of making it in, or was this your last straw, or like take us through it? So
It's such an insane story, actually, because I had no intention of being on TV ever in my life. Um, I used to be a property manager, or an assistant property manager, and we got this new family in from New York, and they were very like abrasive and New Yorker people. And the young son, he was like, "Oh, I'm an actor in town." I said, "Oh, that's cool. I'm a singer. I have a show at this place. You should come." And he was like, "Oh, wow." So he looked me up and he went, "Oh my gosh, you're so good." He goes, American Idol is coming back, and I know a lot of the people who work on the show. So you should apply, and then I'll send them your information and get you on. I just looked at him and was like, "You're full of crap." Like, you could just tell that somebody is lying. And it was just like so blaringly obvious. So I went on the website, American Idol, whatever. It looked fake. I was even like, what the heck? This doesn't even look like a well put together website. No idea. But there, they said at the bottom, it said, "Oh, if you want to apply, email us at this link, and send us a couple videos." So I emailed them a video of me singing Billie Jean and one other thing, and I sent them this blurb. I said, "I'm from X place and I love dinosaurs and Pokemon and video games, but I also sing and I write and I read and I collect fossils and books and blah, blah, blah." And so within 10 minutes, they got back to me and they were asking for my phone number and if they could talk to me because they really loved how I sounded. I was like, oh my God, that was really fast, first of all. And I didn't even tell that boy that I applied. So this was just kind of kismet, I suppose. So they talked to me on the phone. They got a little bit of my backstory, my life, and then they asked if they could set up a meeting with me. And I said, sure, sure. I don't know what to expect. I have no idea. I just know that there's like 10 rounds of this reality TV stuff before they even um, put you on the actual show. You have to audition for producers and executive producers and all those people.
So you don't just go and stand in line and
Oh no.
Okay.
No. It's there's so much behind the scene. I know. And so I show up and I was in like, well, the outfit you see on TV is what I wore to my producer audition. So I was just wearing my little dress, my little keds, and I had my mohawk. I was ready to go. And then I sang an original song and a Prince cover, and they were like, "Oh my God, you're fantastical. Do you like Katy Perry?" And I said, "I don't hate her. Why?" And then they handed me a piece of paper and they're like, "Oh, because she's gonna love you. Welcome to the show." And I was like, "Oh, I had no idea that's what I was auditioning for today." So I just like showed up unknowingly to audition and skip all of the bullshit process and just be on the show. So technically, I was casted right away.
That's
And
awesome.
so I was casted in June, and the show didn't even start recording until November after Thanksgiving. So I had to wait and not tell anybody anything for all that time. So stressful. But there is a lot that goes into the show. It's a lot more scripted stuff than you realize.
Yeah.
But I never went into it expecting to win. I was like, oh, well, I might as well just have fun now.
Yeah.
So I kept choosing songs that I wanted to sing. I wasn't really thinking about, oh, I have to sing this song to impress because, I want to win. So my experience was actually a little bit more enjoyable than everyone else's because I wasn't as stressed and dependent on this as like the younger kids were, because I was already working in studios in Los Angeles and making a name for myself as a session singer. So I already had work. It wasn't like I needed this to jumpstart my career or anything. But it was good. It was, in hindsight, I would never do it again, ever. It's not that necessary. It's simultaneously the best thing I've ever did and the worst thing I ever did, because it did catapult my career in ways that I didn't expect. And I got to travel and, I get to sing all the time. It's been 3 years and I haven't had to go back to a normal job. But on the other hand, all the fans that I gained through that are, they were 12 to 15, 16-year-old young kids. So when it came to booking me for things, it was hard to say like, oh, I have 30,000 followers on Instagram, but none of them are going to come to this gig, because a lot with music is about your following and the social media numbers and how many people you can expect to bring to a venue nowadays.
See,
So,
I don't like that because
oh, me either. It drives me nuts.
I don't like that because it takes away. I honestly was just thinking about this today a lot. It takes away from talent,
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
It's it's so easy. It's okay. I don't want to say it's easy to gain a following, but anybody
Yeah.
could gain a following, right? You don't have to be talented at your craft. You could be a mid-level singer who's okay, but then have a huge following, and all of a sudden you're making a bunch of money and you're getting
I know. I
so many
know.
views. And it's the same with fighting. It's the same with fight. I think it's anything. And I'm so done with social media and how it's portraying people that spent their, because this is kind of why I'm doing this podcast, is to highlight these people that spent their whole entire lives at their craft, at trying to become good at something, and to just to highlight it, how hard it is, but yet
Yeah.
how it's just, it takes time. It's not quick because I have a daughter, she's 14, and the last thing I want her to focus on is gaining a following. If she wants to go out, she's not a singer. I think she'd break windows too, but but
Oh, damn.
but it's, I want to show her and any other youth that it takes effort. You have to really work at your craft. And I think slowly we'll get out of the social media phase on
I think so too.
I hope so, right?
I think that actually one of the weird, like, nice things about the quarantine and this whole situation has been it took a total lockdown for people to start realizing they don't really care about their celebrity um, idols as much. You know, when
Yes.
celebrities were sitting in their jacuzzis, like, oh my god, I'm so sad. I can't go get my red bottom shoes anymore. It's
Yeah.
like, shut the frick up. There are bigger problems happening in the world. So it was kind of interesting to see like steady decline of some people that I was following as well that I don't anymore because they were like that. And like, how inconsiderate can you be? Can we please just, social media is so dangerous for the youth, especially like you said, and especially because it sets this expectation that it's so easy to become this idolized celebrity when in terms of reality it's kind of just luck, and some of
Yeah.
these people can afford to pay PR teams and social media teams, and it's exhausting.
It is exhausting. And it's I'm luckily, 'cause I'm gonna be honest, because when I got into fighting late, and when I first got into it, I thought it was just social media, social media, social media. That's how you get your name out there and how you get fights. And luckily the quarantine showed me it wasn't.
Hmm.
And I think podcasting is really cool because it shows how real people are, right?
Yeah.
And it really changed my viewpoints on people. And like you said, I was following fighters that when the quarantine happened, it turned out they didn't really have much of a life, you know.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was, I think everybody knew this. But
Yeah.
um I do want to ask you about state of emergency. If you
Oh
guys don't,
yeah.
if
Well,
you're
no, because I
listening,
could tell that whole story. That's a good story.
if you guys, if you're listening, Effie and I forget his name, sorry,
Spencer Day.
Spencer Day,
Mhm.
and that guy's voice is amazing. I did
I
not expect
know.
that to come out of him.
I love him. Yeah. Yeah.
So, can you run us through that story of how that song came to be and how you went to Mexico?
Yeah, for sure. So Spencer and I have been singing together for 2 years now, and we were both feeling a little down and out with the Southern California lifestyle and just the expectations of Hollywood and all that stuff. So he asked if I'd be interested in going on a tour through Mexico with him, and then we would hit New York City and maybe some other big cities in the States where he performs regularly. And I said, "Oh yeah, sure, sign me up, get me the heck out of here." So we had just arrived in Mexico on March 11th, so I'm almost here for a year, which is crazy. March 11th, and immediately as we walked into his apartment, Trump had declared the state of emergency. And within a few hours, we heard from all of our venues saying that they were closing down and that all of our gigs were just getting swept out from underneath us. So that was a great feeling, obviously. But we had actually started writing this song 6 months prior in October. Well, yeah, almost 6 months prior. In October, we had a gig in Sonoma. And that's when that really crazy wildfire was happening up in the mountains of the wine country, and we had a gig up there, and like as we were singing you could see the fire behind us, so we were like, wow, we should write a song about the end of the world. So we started that song in October and then finished it in March that night. We were like, well, now we have no reason to not finish this song. And so we wrote State of Emergency, just about two friends experiencing the end of the world together, and he lost all power in his apartment. So we wrote it with candles and we had some wine. It was just such a bizarre beginning to our journey. And so as we lost all of our gigs, we flew into Puerto Vallarta and we just decided to stay because we didn't feel comfortable really getting on a plane or doing any of that. So he stayed for about 3 months and then I just never left. And I have my own apartment now and I'm working on getting my temp residency. So I kind of want to just stay here. Now I have 3 different shows here in town as well. So I'm performing 4 nights a week and just kind of doing my thing. I'm working my ass off and it's paid off to stay.
Awesome. And what made you stay? What was it about Mexico that made you stay?
Well, the first thing was, well, if we're all going to be miserable, I might as well be miserable by the beach, because my apartment was 2 blocks away from the beach and they had closed off the beaches. So you couldn't actually walk along them, but I could at least go and watch the sunsets and have a special kind of area. And also I lost my apartment in LA before they mandated the eviction forgiveness or whatever that's called. My landlord kind of just moved into my apartment while I was away, which was super gross. So my mom and my brother came down to LA from Bakersfield and they moved all my stuff for me, and he had thrown all my stuff on the floor. Like, it was just such a bad situation. And I said, well, I'm not going to move back in with my mother at 29. I'm going to do everything I can to stay here and make a life for myself until I can't anymore. And then that life flourished, and now I'm a well-known performer in town, and I'm just so grateful for my year. It's been a good year.
That is amazing to be. I'm like, it's hard to process for me because you just, it's a whole life-changing moment, right?
Yeah.
That's so awesome, Effie. Is there a language barrier? That's what I was going to ask too. Is there a language barrier for the performances?
There actually isn't, because Puerto Vallarta is such a tourist town that I actually don't experience many locals coming out to the theaters. I'm trying to change that. Spencer and I sing a few mariachi songs and then a few songs that we've translated into Spanish. But the language barrier, I mean, in 10 months, I want to say I'm like 50% proficient at Spanish, which is crazy because I moved here knowing nothing. And now I can understand and read almost everything, but speaking it is just, I jumble and I get nervous and I'm just scared of being judged. But they're just so happy if you even try. So the language barrier is not that big of a deal. It's really lovely to be engaged in a culture and kind of you're forced to learn.
I wish I was in Mexico right now, to be honest. I wish I was out of California in Mexico by the beach.
Yeah, I can imagine.
No,
yeah.
So I did want to, you mentioned that you were into fossils and books and and that's such a different avenue, right? Fossils, not books, but fossils. What made you get into fossils? Are you still into them? Do you collect them or?
Oh my God, I'm such a bizarre, like I look like a little bubbly fairy for the most part, and I'm covered in tattoos and blah blah. But in my house, I have, well, not my apartment right now, but all packed away from when my other apartment was. I have at least like 10 different animal skulls and body. Like I like taxidermy, and I like just animals in general. So I have a lot of like old fossils, but I also just really love dinosaurs. I can name way too many dinosaurs than the normal person, and I collect like dinosaur figurines. So fossils, of course, I don't have a lot, but I have like some raptor teeth and Spinosaurus teeth and like amber and stuff like that, and then I collect really old books, like from the 1500s and the 1600s to the 1800s, and then first edition Dr. Seuss books. So I have like a really wide variety of stuff, and then I have like all first edition Harry Potter books. So my trip, I went back home for the holidays to visit my brothers, and then I was like going through all my stuff that they had packed away for me. And instead of bringing home clothes, I brought home a suitcase full of books and shoes and like other random like knickknacks that I definitely didn't need, but at least my apartment feels more homey to me now because I have my books and dead things. So
Does your collection of different objects, does it inspire you for your writing? Do you think it?
I think it is an extension of my style of writing. I do tend I have two facets of writing. I write musical theater, or I write really odd, dark, macabre kind of stuff.
That's the
So
stuff I
I
like.
think, yeah, I think it is definitely an extension of who I am as an artist. It's the weird person in me that comes out sometimes.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
So what is next for you? I know you said you have 3 shows that are going on right now. Do you have an album coming out? Are you working on an album?
I am. I've been working on an EP. Um, Actually, it's kind of perfect timing to
Yeah.
extend on the weird writing style that I was just talking about. It's an EP based off Greek mythology figures. So it's going to be
Whoa.
5 songs. They're all very dark and mysterious sounding. There's a couple that are more pop sounding, but for the most part, they're very unique. So I've been writing and recording them at my apartment, which I think is a really interesting. So it's going to be kind of like my quarantine project. It's going to be in no means like perfect. It's going to be kind of rough demo sounding, but I think it kind of adds to the charm and the fact that I did it all during quarantine in my apartment in Mexico. So it's just like all these different factors make it amazing. But yeah, so I have Ares, who's the god of war, Hades, god of the underworld, Persephone, who is Hades' wife, um,
Are these
Eros
the
is the
song? Are you
god.
naming them?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
Eros, the god of like sex and lust, and then I don't remember. Oh, Medusa. So
Awesome.
it's gonna be really interesting. So I am working on that. I don't know when it's gonna be released, but hopefully by spring. Let's just say
Straight.
spring. Let's just guess. Let's just throw
There's
it out there. But in terms of my shows here, I have 3 shows. I perform 4 nights a week here, and I'll be doing that until May at least. So I'm a busy bee. I'm very very lucky.
yeah, people need to stay busy right now, and the people that are not staying busy are having a hard time.
I know.
But um, me and my sister we were actually scrolling through your Instagram, and we love the rawness of your videos, right?
Oh, thank you.
I love progression, and I love seeing the practice and how a song not a well not it goes with everything. So how you make a song and how you come up with the lyrics, and you just being that raw on Instagram. I love it. I love it, and it's really cool. Did it take time to open up like that, or did you just always know you're gonna do that?
I think I've always been one of those people that didn't want to be picture perfect on social media, and I have had moments where like I'll open up to the people and be like, "Hey, do we need to have a talk about mental health today? Like what's everybody going through?" And I'll talk about something that I'm stressing over or something. And then when it came to my music, the last thing that I would want to do is like overproduce my voice and put it on social media like that's who I really am.
Yeah.
I do have flaws. I'll sing a wrong note here and there. I will play a wrong note more times than not. So I really enjoy being as transparent, especially because a lot of my followers are young, and I don't want them to look up to a woman who's presenting herself in a false light. So I
Thank
always
you.
want it to be like that. Yeah.
Thank you.
For
That
sure.
that really that we need more people like you. Did
Yeah. Yeah.
and I lost my train of thought. I had a really good question. I really uh so that's oh yes. Um did how do you know, are there as many people writing their songs and their own songs, or when you get to the higher level, higher, when you get to see the insides of music, is there less people writing their own songs? I find you rare. I don't really see that many people saying that they're writing their own songs and performing them.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. There are so many heavy hitters in the writing industry because they're completely separate. Like you can have a writing contract, but not a recording contract. So like Ed Sheeran writes music for everybody, but you wouldn't know it because there's two ways to go about it. You can write a song for somebody and sell it for a smaller amount of money, like $5,000. You sell this song and you get your name attached to it. You don't lose your rights to the song, but you don't make royalties. So you get the writing credit, but what if that song takes off and all you got was $5,000? So a lot of people just sign away their name and give the song away, hoping that it takes off and they get the royalties. But it is a fact of the music industry is that a lot of people, they aren't writing as much. They depend on ghostwriters or other people or teams of people even. I mean, you look at one Beyonce song and it's like 15 people helped her write a song. It's
You
like,
serious?
really? For 3 minutes you needed 12 people?
Yeah.
So it's kind of baffling. But what I write, I've done a few writing camps for other people where I meet with like strangers and we sit in a room and hope something comes out. Like I wrote a song for Rihanna and I wrote a song for Kelly Clarkson. They didn't sell, but still, it was a very unique experience to sit in a room and try and write a song that you can envision them singing. It's like, first of all, I don't listen to Rihanna or Kelly Clarkson, so I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing in here. So it's kind of hard, but yeah, writing in Hollywood is its own monster.
So I'm really big on life experience and people that have substance to themselves, like just experience in life. And do you think them losing the struggle, do you think they're not struggling enough anymore? Is that what it is? Because I feel like struggle brings out the best of us, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I've never really thought about that before. Because I don't want to say that people higher up don't have struggles. Obviously, their struggles are a little bit more minuscule compared to the normal folk. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, besides heartbreak, it's not like they're singing about not having money or anything. But I think people can still struggle with love and loss and friction at home and that kind of stuff, no matter how much money they make. So I don't know if that's really it, or if honestly just everything that could be said has been said. That could also be another thing. It's like if you've already had 30 songs on the radio,
Yeah.
like what else can you sing about that the
Yeah.
folks haven't heard before? That's like with Taylor Swift and all them. Like after a while, all of their songs
Repetitive.
sound the same. And as much as I love Adele, same thing with her stuff. It's like all the messages are all the same in every song.
Yeah.
You
That's why
gotta branch out.
I think artists like that adapt to changing, right? Because a lot of diehard fans of Metallica, they're gonna hate the newer albums because they're not the same, right?
Oh yeah, I'm
But
like that.
but Metallica's still around because they are adapting and they're not doing the same thing over and over again. So
Yeah.
I mean that it might not make everybody happy, but they're adapting. So
Yeah, I think there's a few artists that are like that, and I will say Taylor Swift is definitely one of them. I mean, she's definitely had a very unique trajectory, as well as Lady Gaga, who was such a smart businesswoman and went the weird route first, and then as she grew in her fame, she was able to do the jazz and she was able to do the country album, and then she did the movie, but then she redacted and went back to like the pop weird dance stuff with this
Yeah.
latest album. And instead of feeling excited for her, I was kind of disappointed that she moved backwards and not continued to grow. So I like the people who adapt, and I like watching their life through music.
Yeah, it's progression. It's they're
Hmm.
changing.
Hmm.
And that, by the way, that movie was powerful. Like every song was just like
Oh,
Jesus.
the songs were so good. And I obviously I had to sing Shallow everywhere for like a year after that movie came.
Yeah.
But it was there's so many good songs in that movie that I've learned a few more of them because I'm like, okay, everyone knows Shallow, but we should be focusing on the other songs from that movie as well. I don't know if I liked the movie like as a whole. I just really loved the music. So
The
that
album.
says a lot. Yeah.
And I know you're a busy person. I have two more questions.
Oh, you're
And
fine.
and so when that so anybody that's going after their dreams and their passions and specifically for singers, because you went that avenue, do you have any words for them for encouragement, or is there realities that need to set in when you're singing? Do you have to be upfront with yourself, say, hey, I'm not good enough? Yeah, I'll go with that. How do you know if you're not good enough for singing, right? When
I
you Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Ooh, it's like I could be a nice person. Um, I think like first of all, for the words of encouragement, please like go support your fellow musicians, and then with each other you'll continue to grow because you'll support each other and go to each other's gigs and that kind of thing. And it's always really important to just be there for other people. And then you can also learn by watching other people's gigs. What are they doing that you are not? What are they saying that you are not? What are they playing? And then what are you doing that they're not? And how can you compare and contrast? But don't get caught in comparison because that's really, really dangerous. And if
Yeah.
somebody is doing better than you, don't automatically think that you're not enough. First of all, just don't. I was just battling that friction like 2 days ago. I was getting lost in comparison, and it could drive you crazy. So don't do that. I know it's hard, and it takes practicing gratitude to really ease up on yourself. If you can afford it, I know it's kind of rough for everybody right now, but if you can't afford it and you really do believe that you can be a good singer, there is no such thing as bad vocal lessons. Like, please put yourself in lessons because you can learn so much. Everything that
Yeah.
I learned as a child, I still practice to this day. I mean, I have technique that I learned when I was 11 that has helped me be able to sing for 3 hours at a time. So that's really important. If you don't have a good ear and you don't sing on pitch for the most part, it's going to be really hard. But if you really want to, then you can train your voice to be better, but it's gonna be hard, and you have to have the passion and the tenacity to stick through it. So it really just depends on the characteristics of the person, but ultimately, if it's your passion and you just love doing it, then just do it, and don't do it specifically to make money, because that's really when the professionals happen, is when you're making money. That's what they
Yeah.
say. So nothing should be able to keep you from doing what you love, but don't expect it to be lucrative right off the bat.
Yeah.
And that's the end of my TED talk. I never know how to answer that question
Yeah.
without coming off as rude or insensitive. It's just some people are not meant to sing. And
Yeah.
it's true.
And it goes with anything, especially I like the tenacity, and it's not lucrative in the beginning, because I I'm not trying to, with this podcast, I'm not trying to portray that going after your passions is easy, right?
Yeah,
There's a formula, and the formula is just keep going and
yeah,
keep striving for it if you're good at it.
yeah.
And have you ever came across somebody that you had to tell, like, hey, I think you're not good enough. Because in fighting, if you're getting knocked out all the time, then there's a
That's pretty
problem.
obvious. Yeah, that should be pretty obvious. No, actually, I haven't. There have been times where I've seen somebody perform and I don't know how they got there. But I would never myself be like, how the heck are you on stage at all? And also, you should consider a life change because obviously they're doing something right if somebody put them on a stage. So
Yeah.
that's another another thing. But no, I haven't ever had to do that before. I had something else that I wanted to say, but I can't remember what it was. Oh well, must not have been important.
Who, seeing your style and the mohawk, especially not that long ago, 2 years ago, right? 2 years
Yeah.
ago was,
Mhm.
yeah.
I know.
Seeing your style, what influenced? Like, I didn't even ask you that. What music influenced you?
I listened a lot to like the Beatles growing up, the Beatles, Beach Boys, kind of like gum pop stuff. And then growing up with my brothers, I was like huge into My Chemical Romance and the Killers and Muse and that kind of stuff, the Bravery, Keen. But my style has always been like musically and I guess clothes wise up until recently now that I'm in Mexico. But always kind of like that British punk pop kind of stuff. So that's why I was like, I'm bored and I want to do a mohawk, but I also want to dress kind of rockabilly.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been quite the journey. I had the mohawk and then I went bald because I wanted to grow out my hair, and now it's like down to my shoulders almost.
Did you
Wow.
have anybody expect you to come out with a punk voice, and was it because of the mohawk? Did anybody think you were gonna be a punk rocker, or when you got on stage? Did you get that a
Well,
lot?
especially with American Idol, they kind of wanted to like shoehorn me into the rock star kind of
Yeah.
personality. They wanted me to sing certain songs, and meanwhile, I wanted to be the complete opposite. Even now that I have curly hair and I wear cute little dresses, um, I'm covered in tattoos. So whenever I sing opera in town, they're like, "What the heck? In the heck?" Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I really loved diverting expectations. So I think I liked having the mohawk and wearing the cute frilly dresses, but then singing like a jazz song. That's kind of what I wanted to do, but they wouldn't really allow me to do it. And they weren't even allowing me to play the piano at a certain point. So I didn't actually get to show America the side of me that I wanted to.
That's so dumb. It's so for some, you're an artist. Like
I know.
it's your inspiration. I don't understand how somebody can control an artist if they're not doing what they if an artist is not doing what they love, then they're not gonna. I don't think they could generate good art, right? It's just
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't know. I think I understand why you say it was the worst and best thing for you, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Because I was kind of just playing a caricature of myself. I wasn't really able to show people what I wanted. Because at that point, I was like, oh, if you're gonna ask for rock songs, then I'm just gonna do what I do at karaoke, like when I'm having fun. So that's what I was doing, like Barracuda. And then the one song that I did sing that I wanted to sing, which was the country song, they freaked out because they were like, well, you're not a country singer. And I was like, but I didn't sing it with a twang or anything. Like I was just myself. That was the one time I was able to be myself. And then I got shit on because I sang a country song. And then the next week they were like, well, do you want to sing country now? And I was like, no, I want to sing like what I want to sing. Just let me
yeah.
sing everything that I want. Just calm down.
I fuck these boxes and these boxes that people want to put you in. It's like it's just be whoever you want to be.
I
Like
know. It
it's
was
so
so silly.
frustrating. It,
Yeah.
ugh, it-
It was, but it's over and it's done with. And ultimately, because I wasn't able to sit at the piano with every song, I learned how to be a better front woman for a band. And now I perform with bands and I'm not hiding behind, not hiding, but I definitely used my piano as a crutch a lot
yeah.
because I get to just sit and stare instead of having to like move around and interact with people. But now
Yeah.
I know how to do all of that. And so it did help me grow as a performer, definitely. So I am grateful for that aspect for sure.
I didn't even realize how different that was. When you're on a piano, you're looking away from the crowd most of the time, right? And you don't have to put yourself out there as much when you're a front man or front woman, and it's just yeah, that's mind-boggling. I love the little things and art or anything, right? The little things that make a difference, and it's just it's so cool.
Yeah.
Speaking about rockabilly, sorry, you brought it up. Did you listen to rockabilly?
No, I just really liked the style,
The
like the
style?
pinup girl. Yeah, the pinup girl styles, and um, I loved the makeup and everything about it. And then, um, like one of my favorite clothing lines had sponsored me, so a lot of the outfits that I wore on the show were given to me by a pinup girl like clothing line.
Who was
So
this?
they're called pinupgirlclothing.com, and their
Sorry
clothes
that you had
are
to.
their
Sorry that you had to
clothing.
promote them. I didn't even know if you wanted to promote them or
Oh yeah, no, they're amazing.
not.
Their clothes are so good. If you're a woman and you like dresses with pockets on top of everything, they have pockets.
Yeah.
They last forever. They're kind of expensive, but they last forever. And I was so grateful for that. So it really helps amp up my style, and it made me more confident. And then like people on because people on YouTube and internet are generally pretty cruel. So I was getting like so many comments like, "Oh, you don't have the right style for that dress," or "You don't have the right body for that dress," or "You shouldn't be wearing dresses at all." I was like, what the fuck are you on about? I don't understand why people are so mean. The way I dressed and the way I sang was such a topic of conversation on the internet. Like people did not, they cared way too much that my style didn't match my voice. It was just mind boggling. So
Did
it's
anybody prepare you for that? Did anybody tell you, "Hey, you're going on this show, you're gonna get a lot of feedback"?
oh for sure. Yeah, they sit us down because I mean I was 27, so I was one of the oldest people on the show. Thank goodness. If I was a child, the show would have wrecked my confidence, and who knows. But they did sit us down, especially because of the younger kids, like 15, 16. And they just say, like, I know it's going to be hard to do, but don't sit down and read the comments. Just don't do it. Don't
Yeah.
do it. And people on YouTube were like, they were like 50-50. People on Facebook were atrocious.
Yeah.
So mean. I mean, I wasn't reading. I would sit down and I would laugh at a couple comments. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm good. Because I'm working in LA already. I know I'm a damn good singer. So nothing you guys could say is going to piss me off. And then people on Instagram were just absolutely lovely. I only had maybe a few people who were mean. But I'm sure for the younger kids who weren't as like polished and weren't as ready or confident, they probably got annihilated. And
Yeah.
you do have to tell people they're not ready for the thrust into America's homes.
Yeah.
It's a crazy experience.
Was it quick? Was it the first episode? I know your how do you say it? Your audition on YouTube?
It's like
Is
1.1 or something million.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it's
lot.
pretty cool.
And but was it like real quick that you started noticing all the feedback and everything?
Oh yeah, for sure. I put all my notifications on Instagram so I could see it like pouring in, and
Yeah.
within seconds of my audition being over, just tons and tons and tons and tons of messages and new followers and comments and all this stuff. And it was so cool to sit there and just watch your life literally blow up, and then all the messages from your friends who are watching, because obviously it airs on the East Coast before it aired here.
Yeah.
So I was getting all the messages before I even saw my own audition. And yeah, it was crazy cool. It was a really cool day. I was crying. My family was crying. And then like I didn't listen to them, and I went and read like a couple comments on YouTube, and people were like comparing me to a screeching owl and asking if I was trans and asking if I was actually a boy. Like it was like the weirdest thing, and I was like, y'all are dumb, first of
Yeah.
all. But I didn't really read anything. And then after that, my friends and my brothers, they would go through the YouTube comments and they would go through the Facebook comments and report for nasty, you know, words or whatever.
That's too much
They
effort.
They were like my army. I was like, you guys just stop. Like, I
Yeah.
just think it's hilarious, but they really had my back. So that was really
That's
funny
awesome.
too. Yeah. My mom was more interested in the comments than anyone else was. She would text me and be like, "Did you read this comment about you?" And I was like, "No, Mom, stop. It's okay."
Well, looking at your Instagram, it's very positive. I think you're just a very positive person, helping person,
Yeah, I try.
transparent person. I think that's a better word, transparent. And
Yeah.
I love what you're doing. I love your music. Your voice is amazing. Prometheus. So is Prometheus your song?
Oh, Prometheus. Yes, that's the last one in the. Thank you. Yeah, that's the last one in the mythology EP.
Yeah.
So yes, Prometheus is one of my songs, and I love that song. I love all of them because they're all kind of in that same vein, just
Yeah.
very unique, and there's definitely no music out there like that. So if you're watching or listening and you haven't watched that yet, it's on YouTube, and I premiered it in Las Vegas last year. Or yeah, last year.
And there's one part in it where all of it's awesome, but there's this note that's just so amazing.
Yeah,
just
it comes
like
out of nowhere. Yeah. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, it's
I
like,
sang it I sang it Friday at my show where I do a piano bar kind of situation, and everyone was like, "What the hell? Sing more songs like that."
Yeah.
And it kind of surprised me because I don't ever sing it for people expecting them to like want to hear more. I just kind of
Yeah.
wrote this project as a fan service to myself for being interested in Greek mythology. So
You're doing what you love.
yeah, exactly. So passion project, yes. And then who knows? It could do better than I was anticipating, and somebody might like it and want to make something out of it. So you never know.
That's awesome. And I love it. I can't wait to hear the other songs for the Greek
Thanks.
mythology. Do you have a name on it yet?
It's going to be called Set in Stone,
Set
which
in
is Medusa's song. Get it? Because she turns
Yeah.
people into stone. Yeah, okay.
I got it.
So yeah, so she it's gonna be it's a picture of me with snakes and shit,
Yeah.
and then Set in Stone, which is the title track, and it's either gonna be 5 or 6 songs, so a pretty decent sized project.
Awesome. I love it. I'm actually really excited. I know I'm not really showing it, but I'm really excited for it because I love stuff like that. And keep on doing what you're doing on your Instagram, staying positive, being
Thanks.
transparent. I do want to thank Berto for connecting us.
Oh, hi Robert. I love you.
That guy, I keep in touch with him because of food.
Oh, that's pretty fair. He's a wicked chef.
Every time he posts something, I have to comment on it and tell him like, you really got to do this to me right now.
I know. He's a killer chef. Yeah.
But thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you?
Well, I am. I'm just on Instagram, Effie Passero, and I think a fan started a fan page for me on Facebook that you can follow. My Facebook accounts were hacked like 4 months ago, and I never got them back, so I'm kind of Facebookless right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think somebody started an Effie Passero fan page, so you can look for that. But just follow me on Instagram because that's where I talk to people the most, anyways.
Okay. Awesome, guys. Thank you for listening. And by the way, my whole family in Modesto loves you. My grandma loves you. Like, they're big fans. I'm a fan. And so thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thanks. I'm so glad. Anytime, man. Anytime.
Thank you for listening, guys. Thank you. Yeah.